hopefully this is not your first time hearing about Via Ferrata, but if it is, then I will show to you the basic gear. This video is not about the basics of Via Ferrata, it is about my toolbox. I want to speak about that. But what Via Ferrata is, if you never heard about it, let me tell you this. It is your single chance, unique way of going on dedicated, extremely dangerous sides of a mountain without putting your life in danger or without needing the help of someone. Plus, minus. This is how I will describe Via Ferrata. Via Ferrata gives you access to sides of a mountain many times not even a rock climber can see. Imagine that. Why? Because to build these routes, well, it is involved a lot of upselling, and then they usually build them on sides of a mountain or of crags where rock climbing is not possible because you don't have all necessary holds to hold yourself and help yourself to advance. So yes, many times Via Ferrata is that route that gives you access to sides of a mountain not even a rock climber can see. Sounds amazing, and it is amazing. So yes, Via Ferrata. Now, Via Ferrata is dangerous. It is an extreme sport, more dangerous than skiing, for example, as dangerous as rock climbing, but more dangerous than that, I will say, in my opinion, when it comes to the risk of injury. The basic equipment for Via Ferrata is the helmet. You usually don't see it when it comes to rock climbing, but when it comes to Via Ferrata, you have to have a helmet. Absolutely. No helmet, no Via Ferrata. Then, as in rock climbing, you'll have your sitting harness. This is a sitting harness. You have to have it because it is part of your lifeline when climbing a Via Ferrata. Not for last, what else you need for Via Ferrata climbs is a Via Ferrata set. This is a Via Ferrata set. As you can see, it has two lanyards, elasticated lanyards. Then in here we call it a shock absorber, and then this lanyard here plugs to the belay loop of your sitting harness. And with these three here, your Via Ferrata safety system is complete. Now you can go up there and enjoy the heights, the mountain, the climb, the experience, the thrill and the danger of it. It is both dangerous and extremely beautiful to do. So you have to learn a bit the safety rules. Once you master that, just go out there and have fun. Be wise about it, because if not, you'll put yourself in danger. Via Ferrata is as dangerous as rock climbing, but more dangerous when it comes to the risk of falling. In rock climbing, you fall multiple times. Falling is natural. In Via Ferrata, you should never fall. If you fall, you get yourself into trouble. Now, this video is not about Via Ferrata, not about the basics of Via Ferrata. This video is about my tool set. I have, as you see, I grab a helmet each time I'm going on Via Ferrata. I grab a Via Ferrata set. I pick one of them. I have multiple, and then I grab a sitting harness. I usually take this one, but now I have the same sitting harness in a different color. I might start using that as well. And then I have different other sitting harnesses as well. So I pick a helmet, a sitting harness, and the Via Ferrata set, and I'm ready. Now, to me, that one doesn't mean complete. It means ready. I can do it. To make it complete and fulfill all my needs when it comes to Via Ferrata climbing, I have this toolkit here. And in here, without thinking, I just have to grab it. I know I have everything I might need in different of a situation. So let's see what it is inside. What makes Via Ferrata climbing better and safer with this toolkit compared to the safety Via Ferrata system, which is built of helmet, sitting harness, and Via Ferrata set. Gloves. On Via Ferrata, in my opinion, you should go with gloves. If you go without gloves and you say, I didn't need gloves, it means it was a very easy Via Ferrata. Because otherwise, if it is a difficult climb, you definitely have to have gloves. And I have four pairs of gloves, each with their unique features. This is full finger gloves, and you might see me using them winter time, for example, or on very extreme Via Ferrata to make sure I'm not injuring my fingers, my skin, because the moment I injure the skin, then my performance drops. To avoid that, full finger gloves. If I want to have a touch of that Via Ferrata, if it is a bit more technical, if I have to find holes, if I have to rely a lot on rock climbing, which is dangerous, I might go with these gloves that don't have full finger for the thumb and then this finger here. Why? Because, let me show you. This allows me to feel the rock, which is enough. I can leverage this other finger, but these two are enough for me to leverage or to feel the rock, and from there to take decisions. Usually, I will go on Via Ferrata with these gloves here. They are amazing, in my opinion, and they are the right balance between what? Between protection and comfort. I have a fourth pair of gloves, these ones, but these ones I only use on zip lines. These are ziplining on Via Ferrata gloves. I will not explain why and what's the difference between that and that. There is a video on the channel, and I might record another one at a later date. Prusiks. Prusiks are very important. You never know when you need a Prusik on a Via Ferrata. So for that, I'm ready every time. If something happens and I need a Prusik, this is there, handy. How to tie a Prusik knot, I have a video on the channel. I might record another one. Almost every time I have with me this lanyard with this carabiner. This is for emergency situations, in case I might aid someone in trouble on a Via Ferrata, or, for example, on zip lines, I might need to expand my lifeline, and this will do the job. This carabiner here shows, where is it? Here, signs of how the zip lines are eating out of a metal. What else do I have here? I have a couple of lanyards, and what I do with these lanyards is to always improvise a chest harness for my system, to complete the system, not to replace, but to complete. Why am I doing that? So I will have this for my hips, around my hips, like this. I have this one for my back to put it as the actual chest harness, and then I have this to connect it to the rest of the system, sitting harness, Via Ferrata set, and the resting system. Why am I doing this? Because many times I go, well, almost 99.9% of the times I'm going alone on Via Ferrata, and the majority of them are new and extreme. If something should ever happen to me and fall upside down, this has to have two purposes. One is to not allow me to slip out of a sitting harness, and then the other one as redundancy. Let's suppose the belay loop, something happens to it, let's suppose, you never know, then this is supposed to catch me. Hopefully this will never happen. I have headlamp, because some Via Ferrata are in the dark, or it might happen that you end up out there for long hours and you have to descend in the dark. I have tape for fingers in case I need it. I have this for emergencies. I don't use this as a resting system, but it is there just in case, you never know, or to give it to someone. And then I have two more things, and these ones are delicate. One is my resting system, and I've seen many using it the wrong way. And I speak a lot of resting systems when it comes to Via Ferrata. In my opinion, they are a bliss, but with a wrong application, they are a threat to your life. So we'll see about that going forward, how I will manage speaking about resting systems. This is my resting system. Whomever is old on the channel knows that I'm using this Epsilon from Climbing Technology. It is a Y-shaped lanyard. To me, this is the perfect resting system possible. Many will go with this. This is the Petzl Connect Adjust. I think this is the name. Yes, Petzl Connect Adjust. And what makes it adjust in the name is this ability to adjust the length. This is dynamic rope. It is better than the Epsilon when it comes to safety from a perspective, but in my opinion, it has a limitation. This adjusting here doesn't go right with me, and I'm telling you why. In terms of overall length, this is the maximum length of it. If we compare with the Epsilon, it is a tad longer. You can see it here to my right. So it is a tad longer. But the main issue here is this variable length. I don't know what is the last position. I might not know. And in most of the cases when I use the resting system to aid myself while climbing, knowing the precise length to know how to leverage my energy is very important. And this doesn't allow that. If you only use this one to clip yourself from a static position to rest, then it is perfect, because you clip, you pull this under tension, and that's that. But if you do as I do, leverage the resting system in many circumstances while climbing, then predictable length is better. Well, I will speak back again about this because I see the need of doing that. One more thing that I have in my toolkit is this device. This is AustrianAlpine, I think, AustrianAlpine Ferata Block. This is the name of it. AustrianAlpine, something like that, is the manufacturer, and then the name of the device is Ferata Block. This is not a safety device. This is an aiding device. The aim of it is to hold you on the verticals of a Via Ferrata in between anchor points. So let's suppose you attack a very difficult Via Ferrata on the vertical. Now you need a break, and you still have to reach the next anchor point. And then otherwise the alternative is to go down. You cannot do any of them, and you don't want to do any of them. Then in this case, this aiding, not safety device, aiding device, it is very good. I spoke in the past, and I will speak more. I'm trying to use it less and less, but I always have it with me. I try to use it less and less, not because it's not good, but because I want to improve my technique. Now, every time I'm going on a Via Ferrata, I have no clue about it. You'll for sure see me with it already plugged, because this is what will always get you out of trouble big time. If your upper body gives up, this is what will take you to the top. There is no other aiding device for Via Ferrata as capable as the Ferrata Block. So it is always in my toolbox here. This is my toolbox. Each element ended up in here after trial and error for a long time. It is a lot of experience behind building it. If you have these things, then you can climb 99.9% of a Via Ferrata. Of course, I don't factor in to here the situation where you might aim to climbing during winter time. That one is a different scenario. And that's that. There is nothing else to say about it because it is complete. This is complete. It can do a lot when it comes to Via Ferrata. Not necessarily in terms of helping others, but in terms of helping myself in case something happens. Now on Via Ferrata, there are a couple of case scenarios where if something happens, no matter what I have in here, cannot help me. So if I get into that situation, I'm in trouble. I need someone to help me. But otherwise, with this toolkit here, yes, I'm confident I can do an attack and solve any Via Ferrata out there. I don't promise not to call the helicopter because there are a couple of overhanging Via Ferrata or overhanging sections on some Via Ferrata extremely difficult. And each time I'm thinking at them, nothing in here can help me, literally. So for that, I need to train more. But overall, if you have these things, for sure, you will be able to get up the couch, out the door, into the outdoor, there on the Via Ferrata, climbing without any concern. Whatever will happen, this toolkit here will get you out of trouble.